Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
2 rallies, 2 candidates, and a clear choice as to which candidate will make America great again. Your thoughts on this topic. We'll take your calls, 855-839-1210 as we move forward. Hey, good morning. Dawn Stensland here, continuing on. I do want to hate you. Dan Borowski's in the house. Jimmy Kelly's in the house. And you too. So the 2 presidential nominees campaigning in Pennsylvania, because the battleground state of Pennsylvania, I think we can all agree, and all the pundits seem to agree, Pennsylvania is where it's at and paves the road to the White House. And that's what's going on, our coveted electoral votes. So in one case, and we'll get to the Trump rally, but I want to point out to you that Vice President Kamala Harris is, very strong words for Donald J. Trump during her rally in the northwestern part of the state last night in Erie, as she is claiming that his behavior is unhinged, that he's unstable. And I want to get to that and get your thoughts. And that's because of that comment, the enemy from within. So I do want to get to this and her new strategy. But one point I also want to make to you, as I look at all of these headlines, and I often do this just as a media person, right? I looked at the headlines this morning and I saw, Kamala Harris blasts Trump for disinformation with regard to his visits to North Carolina and the Carolinas and Florida. And I think, my goodness, where are the stories about more than 251 people killed? Did you know this? I mean, 251 souls gone from this earth, wow. Dozens of children among them, the school districts, especially in North Carolina, releasing the numbers of how many students they've lost. Wow. Young children and babies. That's so sad. This is happening in America. Why isn't this should be the story that our nation should be hearing. 251 people in our country have been killed, and this death toll rises by the minute. They're searching for bodies. All of these missing individuals that hopefully they will find. You heard the stories during the storms, during the aftermath, and even during the aftermath of Helene and then Milton and Florida and all the southern states, 7 states in total. But where are we hearing about this? Devastation, thousands, tens of thousands of people still without power, impassable roadways, missing people. I don't even have a count for how many people are missing across the 7 states, but it appears, depending on where you look, a minimum of 251 people confirmed dead and many others feared dead. Why isn't this a headline? Why is that? And that's a sin if you want to talk about it. So I just want to put that into some level of perspective. But Kamala Harris really unleashing a new strategy that, quite frankly, I think is a good strategy, because clearly I think she's uncomfortable before these rallies, and they're trying to do bigger rallies. They're trying to look Trump-esque, if you will. And so she's trying to have that look. So they came up with the idea with creating a situation where they can have play video. And I joked earlier, it's like Greg Stocker, they Kamala's cut sheet. But seriously, it allows her to not detail her own policies and thus policy failures, because remember, she is the current administration, doesn't own it. But do you want to go with that first?
What's on the cut sheet?
Kamala, cut sheet.
Someone who will stop at nothing to claim power for himself. And you don't have to take my word for it. I've said for a while now, watch his rallies. Listen to his words. He tells us who he is. And he tells us what he would do if he is elected president. So here tonight, I will show you one example of Donald Trump's worldview and intentions. Please roll the clip.
The worst people are the enemies from within.
The enemy from within. Those people are more dangerous, the enemy from within, than Russia and China. These people should be put in jail the way they talk about our judges and our justices. Now, if you had one really violent day, one rough hour, and I mean real rough.
It's really awkward that she's just standing there on stage.
Yeah.
People from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people,
deceptive
radical
editing.
left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
So they boo, and now she stands there, gets the reaction, and then goes on. So she really is, well, I guess when she loses on November 5th, maybe she hopes for a career, here at Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. She could just go to the cut sheet.
You're listening to the Kamala Show.
What do you think? If anybody can talk with credibility, I will just tell you about the enemy within from so many levels. Whether you think about the millions of people who have come into our country, who, by the way, their home countries had them jailed and wanted them to leave, and then thus their crime rates went down. So, but think about Trump as somebody who was the survivor of assassination attempts, was shot in the ear, July 13th, Butler, Pennsylvania, and we'll play that audio with the two survivors because, of course, our great firefighter and hero, Corey Comparator, 50-year-old dad, shielding his wife and daughters, he was shot to death that day. So if anybody can talk about the enemy from within, I think it's Donald J. Trump. What do you think, Dan? Do you want to play some of his clips from last night's rally? Because I want
we still have more of the Kamala if you want.
Kamala's cuts, okay.
It's if you want, it's up to you. I don't know if you want the cup show with Kamala to continue or not. It's debatable.
Right. Just a little.
Just a little bit. Here's some more.
Radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
So you heard his words. You heard his words coming from him. He's talking about the enemy within Pennsylvania. He's talking about the enemy within our country, Pennsylvania. He's talking about that he considers anyone who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will,
which is clearly not what he's talking about.
An enemy of our country. It's a serious issue. He is saying that he would use the military to go after them. Think about this. And we know who he would target. And we know who he would target because he has attacked them before. Journalists whose stories he doesn't like. Election officials who refuse to cheat.
What was that word she's thinking?
By filling extra votes and finding extra votes for him. Judges who insist on following the law instead of bending to his will. This is among the reasons I believe so strongly that a second Trump term would be a huge risk for America and dangerous.
Ooh, dangerous. So
your rhetoric is dangerous, Kamala.
Yes. I mean, here's somebody who's, the guy can't golf. Because seriously, they said, Mr. President, you cannot golf because it's too dangerous. Right? So this is insane. Here's some of the headlines. MSNBC, Trump's military solution for enemies within, in quotes. Trump's anti-immigrant domestic enemy rhetoric in focus. That's CBS News. Barron's. Here's Barron's. Trump's enemy from within talk takes a disturbing new turn.
Oh, come on.
CNN, Trump suggests using military against the enemy from within. So they're going with the narrative, following her lead. And is this not dangerous rhetoric? Are these not dangerous fake news headlines? clearly we know what Trump was talking about. I know J.D. Vance has talked about this and no doubt will address it again when he's in Montgomery County and Lafayette Hill today. But I mean, this to me is incredible that they don't get it. What Trump is referring to when he's talking about people who, first of all, we know we have confirmation in the FBI director's own words, the Border Patrol officials' own words, as far as dangerous individuals. They don't know exactly where they are, but they know there are terrorists who have snuck in. They're still looking for at least 100 people who are on the terrorist most watched list, worldwide watch, by the way. They're in this country right now as we speak. And also we know that there are dangerous killers and criminals and pedophiles and, I mean, you name it, violent offenders who are in this country who we know their criminal records from their home countries, by the way, let out of prison or escape prison, whatever. So that's what he's talking about, the enemy from within. All right, do you want to go to the Butler, PA survivors here?
Yeah, I got two directions. We can either go to the Butler, PA survivors, or I got the Trump town hall yesterday. I do think the Butler, PA survivors is probably better right now, though.
Okay, more topical and then we'll come around the break and we'll bring you the latest on. But if you attended the rally, I would love to hear from you with the Trump rally. So this is an incredible story, and kudos to NBC News for putting these two gentlemen together. And thank God that James Copenhaver and David Dutch, thank goodness, they survived this. They've been healing, and the only updates really that we've received were from Trump himself. But this was an NBC exclusive. James Copenhaver is 74. David Dutch is 57 years old. And this is NBC News interviewing the men together and what they have to say as far as what happened and who they blame for this violence.
I was more mad about it than anything. I mean, I was in the service, went through a war, didn't even get a scratch, and then you go to a rally and you get shot in a crowd.
What were you mad about?
The security, the fact they tried to shoot the president, shot into a defenseless crowd.
Pennsylvania residents David Dutch and Jim Copenhaver didn't know each other until they became linked by tragedy. They each were hit with bullets aimed at former President Trump during that assassination attempt in Butler.
Jim, when did you realize something was wrong?
When I saw part of my sleeve go away, and I heard, I heard it distinctly. And that I turned around to my friend and I said, I think I was shot.
Copenhaver, who is 74, now walks with a cane. He was shot twice. One bullet tore into his tricep, a scar he could show us. But the other bullet is still lodged in his body, taking chunks of his colon and leaving him with nerve damage.
Feels like somebody's taking a cigarette and burning right in the middle of my leg.
Attorneys for both men say this video shows them getting shot. Copenhaver in the white long sleeve, Dutch further right in the American flag t-shirt. The bullet that hit Dutch split his liver.
It was like getting hit with a sledgehammer right in the chest. I could feel my ribs were all busted up. So I was kind of just holding it.
You could feel your ribs?
Oh, yeah.
Pennsylvania's governor says firefighter Corey Compantori was shot and killed while trying to protect his family at the rally. Congress and the Secret Service are now investigating. The head of the Secret Service resigned. The agency has called Butler a failure, acknowledging communication breakdowns.
Did the Secret Service fail former President Trump and fail you that day?
Oh, yes. Big time.
It was a rush job, It was put together too quickly, and they skipped steps.
The FBI says there was a second attempt on former President Trump's life, which the Secret Service was able to stop. And just this weekend, a man in California was arrested, allegedly for having weapons and ammo in his car as he tried entering a Trump rally. That man has said he actually supports Trump and denies he was trying to assassinate him.
So that's NBC. And I think it's, harrowing when you see the video of them being shot. But to hear about the fact that they're still, it sounds to me that these injuries are lifelong injuries, that they will, you're thinking about your liver, being, having a bullet in your body and your liver being shot like that. Oh my God. It's, but yes, that they blame the Secret Service. I don't know that there are lawsuits that have erupted, but I imagine there will be legal action here. So we'll continue on with that. Let's take a quick break. Let's go to, when we come around the break, we'll talk more because I want to get into the Trump rally last night in Oaks, because this is the tale of two stories. For those of you who I've heard from personally who enjoyed the rally and attended the Trump rally in Oaks, it was a great experience. And unfortunately, there were medical emergencies because it got hot in there. They didn't have air conditioning. And so that's the tale that Trump supporters are telling, your experience if you were there. But I wonder if you were there and then you saw the news coverage and you saw as if it was a completely different event. And when I talk about media malpractice or bias by omission, well, now you know if you were there. But I would love to hear from you if that's your experience. 855-839-1210. Quick break, more on the Trump rally and a lot of breaking news as well. Be right back.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. You may know me from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows, and you may even know me from some of these commercials. But listen, I'm teaching stuff that people need to learn about money. In fact, my favorite topic is money. So go to investorschooling.com and you will learn things about money that you never even knew existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock market, and about how to use your IRAs properly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win. How about this? The Thursday night game, Broncos at Saints. Alvin Kamara, he's due over rushing yards. Bo Nix, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And Rashid Shaheed, over receiving yards. All you have to do is just visit FanDuel.com/Dom, D-O-M, to make every moment more. FanDuel.com/Dom. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER.
The 2024 presidential election is here. With the race neck and neck and with so much at stake, MSNBC has the in-depth coverage and analysis you need. Our reporters are on the ground, and we're breaking down the numbers until every last vote is counted, providing you with insight on what it all means for the future of our country. Watch coverage of the 2024 presidential election Tuesday, November 5th, and listen to MSNBC Live on the free Odyssey app or wherever you watch MSNBC.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
Don Stensland, weekdays 10 till noon, only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And on the free Odyssey app.
Could you whisper in my ear the things you want to feel? I'll give you anything to feel it coming. Do you wake up on...
We'd love to hear from you if you attended the huge rally in Oaks, Pennsylvania, as certainly suburban Pennsylvania is where it's at. Pennsylvania, the road to the White House, as we've talked about. So former President Donald Trump's town hall in Oaks, Pennsylvania, which is, 25 miles outside of Philadelphia. It had to be cut short because, first of all, it got so hot in there. And, we played you that audio earlier this morning where Trump said, please, can we open the doors, let the fresh air in?
Yeah.
because they didn't have the AC. It was just hot, and you have, first of all, this time of year usually it shouldn't be that warm, but they didn't have the AC, and then on top of it, they don't have the doors open, and then you have the huge crowd with all the body heat, literally. So 2 people needed medical attention, and so that's why they had to cut it short. You should see the headlines. He was fielding questions from voters with South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem moderating when a man in the crowd, I think the man was the first one who fainted about a half an hour in. And so it seems to me that he was initially just trying to create a soothing, calming atmosphere where he asked them to please, work quickly, help the guy, but can you play Ave Maria? I know that he loves, opera music and that sort of thing, but I think he thought it would be soothing to people as well, and to the man who was obviously had fainted and the EMS workers. Do you want to play a little bit of that?
Yeah,
Dan?
you want to play it out as it happened?
Yeah,
because you can hear. So here in the back, this is the second person passing out here, fainting, and you can hear Trump answering the question. And in the background, you can faintly hear some commotion, and then you can clearly hear people starting to yell "medic," and then this is where all that happens that you just described. Take a listen.
We're going to finish the wall, but how are you going to handle the deportation of criminals?
So, if you've watched any of our last rallies, we have a Criminal Aliens Act of 1798. That's a long time ago. And it gives the president tremendous power to do what has to be done to secure our country. And you're right, so if you look at the polls, it says that the number 1 issue is the economy, number 2 is inflation. Let's even put them together. And number 3 is the border. I disagree. I think I agree. I do agree with you. The number 1 issue this country has.
Can you hear them calling medic?
Put the AC, it's steaming in here, someone says.
Mm-hmm. So this is, if you've been to the Oaks Expo Center, it's a huge center. By the way, nobody's talking about the crowd. It's a huge crowd. It's packed. And you can hear him. See, he's a leader. He's just a natural leader. Look at him. He's saying, can you open the doors and play out? He is trying to soothe the crowd, first of all. And music does that. He knows that. But he's also saying, can you open the doors? The media, you should see the media headlines. And by the way, Harris's campaign posted on social media claiming that Trump acted confused when asked if they should end the event and play a walk-off song. And Harris posted, hope he's okay. So they're playing this whole thing off. Now, if you were there, that's why I want to hear from people. Was he confused? Was this they're basically saying, hey, won't release his doctor's notes because the guy is mentally not there and he's old, he's aged. That's really what they're saying.
So we got some callers who actually were there last night. Susan and Winmore, let's go to first. Hey, Suze, how you doing?
Oh, hi, Dan.
Dan and Dawn, thanks for calling, Susan.
Oh, hi, Dawn.
Hi.
Yeah, I was there last night, and the first man that passed out was not sitting too far from me, and he was down for probably about 15 minutes. A bunch of paramedics came in, rendered assistance to him. They took his shirt off. He was as white as a ghost, soaking wet with sweat. They got him on the stretcher and took him out. And as soon as they got out the door with him, somebody on the other side passed out. So they called in more paramedics. Donald Trump called the Secret Service over to ask if they would open the doors, and they said that they couldn't because of security reasons. The temperature in the room was ridiculously hot. My shirt was soaking wet from sweating. They had run out of bottled water. I left shortly, about maybe 10 minutes after they took the second person out. And Donald Trump couldn't have been more concerned and more caring. He was so worried about everybody. And then once I got outside, I had to assist a 82-year-old man whose son had just brought him out because he has cardiac issues and he was overheated and dizzy. So I sat with him till his son went and got his truck to come get him. I sat talking to him the whole time to keep him coherent. It was, I'm glad I was there for 9 hours yesterday because I met a lot of really nice people.
That's wonderful.
But it was really upsetting, and the way that they're portraying this on the news.
Susan, can I just read you 3 headlines, and I want your reaction, Susan, and to those of you who were there. Number 1, New York Times: Trump bobs his head to music for 30 minutes in odd town hall detour. Number 2, crowd leaves early. This is Newsweek. Crowd leaves early as Trump dances to music on stage for 39 minutes. That's Newsweek. And NBC News, I'm not making this up, NBC News: Trump turns political event into surreal listening party. So, Susan, you were there. Is there any truth to these? These are all the headlines.
Absolutely not. The way that they're making it look is that Donald Trump stopped answering questions from people in the audience, and that he decided to just play music and dance around for 39 minutes. And it couldn't have been further from the truth. And, yeah, I saw those headlines. I actually posted them on my Facebook page. It's disgusting the way that media puts a spin on things when it comes to Donald Trump. It's sickening, and people believe this nonsense.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And another caller I want to take real quick, because painting a completely opposite picture of the headlines is Mike, who says he just observed so many great things at the rally.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Dawn. Yeah, I got there at 12. I got in line with thousands of people that were really positive and happy, and it was a fantastic event. As many women as men, as many young people as old people, everyone being happy and confident. And they opened up the doors, and people just kept coming and coming. Unfortunately, whoever organized it was not too well off. They did not do things right. I'm 70 years old. I had to leave an hour before we got there because I knew bad things were going to happen. I've been at rock concerts that were handled better than this. And Donald Trump, unfortunately, walked into a keg that was really ready to blow up. I just knew bad things were going to happen. So I went outside, and I watched as the cars, when they brought him in. I went around back and watched the entourage bring him in, and he was supported by police all over Pennsylvania. It was wonderful.
Bad things happen in Philadelphia. Bad things.
Oh, man, they just loved him so much. The crowd loved him so much. But whoever organized the venue has to be criticized tremendously. It was unsafe. It was overheated. And Trump, just when he walked on stage, things were already going bad. There was absolutely nothing he could have done. And it's a shame because the people, we had so much fun all day long outside. And then they squished too many people. And they shut the doors, and there was still 1,000 people outside wanting to get in. I mean, who organized this thing? But you can't point at Trump at all.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, thanks for clear. And here's and I wanted to go last night. I was all signed up, but I couldn't go. I'll talk about that later. But thank you so much. And that's part of the reason that I feel like I want more people to go to these things and record with your phone. You know what I'm saying? From the crowd standpoint, because I feel like there's all of this disinformation. All of these, here are other ones, and these are mainstream, allegedly, news. Trump crowd leaves early as audience is made to listen to music for 39 minutes.
Forced to listen.
And they've said that the Trump crowd was forced, and they left early, which was, the Harris's, that was how she triggered Trump in the ABC News debate. This is a lie. And this is the kind of thing that I think, unfortunately, is why people don't trust the media, especially if you're from the right or if you're just paying attention. That's a sin. That's terrible. And also, they're denying the fact that there should be an investigation. What happened here? This is a huge expo center, and we need to look into this and find out. I'm just wondering, what was going on with that? Did they know? They should have known it would have gotten that hot with that many people. So was this negligence, or was it on purpose? Because this did happen in Blue, Montgomery County. I have to ask the question. So 855-839-1210, the number to call, and we'll continue the conversation. I need to go because we do have Meg Brock, who's going to be calling in as well. Got to talk about the kitchen, Because when it comes to your home, and especially my kitchen, trust is everything. 45 years. Kitchen Magic has built a reputation for transforming kitchens with such precision and care. I'm talking about custom cabinets, countertops, backsplashes, storage solutions. Kitchen Magic gets the job done and fast. In just a few days, your dream kitchen becomes a reality without the hassle. Trust the name your neighbors have relied on for decades. Kitchen Magic. Get your free in-home consultation. Put this on the calendar. KitchenMagic.com. Let's cook up something extraordinary. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute have formed a powerful alliance. Legends in caregiving New Jersey families, the most sophisticated heart team in America. Innovators in research and patient care who've made life better for thousands of patients, raising the standard for the next generation of care. The alliance between Deborah Heart and Lung Center and Cleveland Clinic Heart Vascular and Thoracic Institute means the highest quality care close to home for you. DemandDeborah.org.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. For years, I've talked about the health benefits of Rescue Natural Supplements after making their omega-3s a part of my daily routine. From supporting heart health to providing pain relief, they provide essential nutrients that impact our bodies in so many ways. Listen to this recent comment from Carol. She says triglycerides are at an all-time low and increase my well-being, while joint pains and muscle aches have decreased too. People like Carol have trusted Rescue with her health goals, and now it's your turn. For a limited time, use the code OMEGA50 for an exclusive buy one, get one free offer on any of the 7 Rescue Omega-3 choices. To get this special radio offer, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or use the code online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember, use that code OMEGA50, OMEGA50, to buy one and get another Rescue Omega-3 absolutely free.
The following is a paid commercial message.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. So many of you have told me about your plans for the future. Starting a business, buying a home, retiring near your grandchildren. But prices are too high. So let me tell you what I will do about it as president. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of healthcare insurance. We cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. I'm running to do that for everyone. And I will provide new down payment assistance to first-time home buyers and tax benefits to people who want to start their own business. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy, whereas I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. Because I know working people want to do more than just get by. You want to get ahead, and that's the future you deserve. And that is what I will focus on every day as your president. Paid for by Harris for President.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline at 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448.
Calling on Percy to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
The polls are very decisive when we think about Americans' opinions about immigration and thinking about what should happen with the borders, northern border as well as the southern border, right? And there was the latest poll just published this morning with 2/3 of all Americans saying no to FEMA money for people who are coming into our country, especially those coming in here flooding in illegally. 2/3 of Americans think that FEMA, for example, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, should not be used to provide free housing to illegal immigrants. And this is a new poll by Harvard CAPS, and it's the Harris poll as well. And so I just want to point that out to you as we bring in our next guest, and think about these polls over and over and over as people say, hey, this is not about, we don't want to seem like we don't care. Of course, we're a caring, loving, compassionate nation, and we are very generous. Think about all the money that we do give in aid to many countries and people around the world, not just our own people. But when you think about the humanitarian crisis, when you think about the crime, when you think about the schools, for example, and health services, how do you accommodate anywhere from whatever numbers you want to believe in? I mean, the federal numbers say as many as 11 million people have come into this country, but there are other estimates, because you have to think of the gotaways. There are other estimates that say as many as 20 million people have come into this country during the past 4 years, less than 4 years, right? And that's a lot of people. And people who come in literally with their clothes on their back, that's it. They have nothing. So they need everything, as if they're your since I'm a mom of teenagers, as if they're, your teenager who needs food, clothing, housing, medical care, right? Think about that. So as we think about that, think about what that does to education, to our schools. And do we have Meg? Yes. So Meg Brock, she needs no introduction, and has authored her latest piece in the Daily Caller, which is an exclusive here, Migrants Overwhelming School Districts in Pennsylvania and Saddling Taxpayers with that hefty price tag. So Meg, a suburban mom, and I know that you, like so many moms especially, but parents in our area, really affected by everything that's happening, and realizing that policy matters, right, Meg? It's not just a boring thing on a piece of paper.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think that was one of the big things that many of us, myself included, became awoken to during COVID, is how much our local government, how much policy matters, and it really does have a impact on people's everyday lives.
So take me through the latest numbers as we learn about school districts in Pennsylvania, and now the need for, and you think about kids who need free, don't have meals, need meals in schools and all of that, but as well, kids who do not speak English, or they speak very little English. And so what does that do to a school district?
Yeah, so we were looking into some of the immigration crisis that's obviously going on across the country, but especially in Pennsylvania. And on the Pennsylvania's Public Department of Education website, they actually had the English learner numbers, which are students who are learning English, and we found that there was a nearly 40% jump in 3 years. So the numbers went from around 72,000 to almost 100,000 in just 3 years. That's an increase of over 28,000 students, which is a lot of students to be entering the school system. And so we started submitting some public records requests and just getting an idea of some of the financial amounts. We estimated it could be costing taxpayers statewide almost $97 million a year in extra costs just to support these students. And then we also heard from parents who were having disruptions with their own children in the classroom, where their children were struggling to get the resources they needed because the resources were being diverted elsewhere.
And so, Meg, when I look at this, just to zoom out and remember the recent past, so we have in Pennsylvania, because we were under the reign of then Governor Tom Wolf, who enacted some of the strictest COVID shutdowns and rules in the nation. And especially here in Philadelphia, but really Pennsylvania. And remember, we all voted as the Commonwealth voters thought that he overstepped and overreached and limited the executive powers of the governor, not just Wolf, but moving forward because of what Wolf did. And so because of that, we have a mental health crisis. We have children who have all of these years of loss of learning and are trying to do catch up. And so what your investigation and the Daily Caller investigative group, and you're not alone, there are others certainly who've pointed this out, and parents have pointed it out. I think, Meg, kudos to you and Jason Hopkins as you really brought all of this data together. And it's startling.
Yeah, it is. It's very startling. I mean, it's a lot of, I think for me, one of the questions I was asking myself is, well, where did all of these students come from? I mean, almost 30,000 students in 3 years is a significant surge. And you really ask yourself, where are these students coming from? I think when you look into, we talk about the border crisis, but it's hard sometimes to get strong numbers because the last census was in 2020. But for me, as I was researching this, I just found that this was some really hard data to prove that the crisis we really are experiencing in this country right now in regards to immigration.
And so, 71,766 students who are apparently new students who are learning English as a second language. And so what is that, as far as the resources, they have to spend all of this money to bring in bilingual teachers, right? Is that part of it, hiring, teachers who can translate?
Right. Yeah. There's different teachers. You think about in one of the districts provided us with information with a classroom where they found a kindergarten classroom had more than 50% of the students in the classroom were not English-speaking students. They were English learner students. And you just think about the practicalities for a teacher. If you have a classroom of 20 kindergartners and you're trying to teach them how to learn to read and half the students don't speak English, well, how is that going to impact the other students who are there to learn as well? So, yeah, there's a lot of resources in terms of having to have adapted curriculum, hiring more teachers, and, it puts a strain on the education system that is already, I think we could say, it's already struggling to the points you made earlier with all the learning losses from COVID. We already see kids are already behind, and this is just putting further strain on that system.
And then is this a situation, because I have actually a girlfriend who's a teacher in Florida, and she's dealt with this. Is it a situation where their parents perhaps are working, let's say, I'm thinking about the mushroom farms, I'm thinking about the different agriculture in Pennsylvania, but then they will leave at certain points. In other words, they're literally migrants who will go to where the work is. So they might be in Pennsylvania, then they might go to Florida, then they might go over here, over there. And so there's that going on, that they come and go. Is that something that you found?
Yeah, it's, obviously I don't know exactly why people are coming and going, but speaking with some people in education and also just looking at the numbers. So on the Pennsylvania Department of Education website, they have the English learner numbers for every school district in the state. So it's very comprehensive. Anyone can go and look themselves. And you do see that fluctuation in the numbers where sometimes, obviously the trend line is all going up, but sometimes you will see 1 year it's a bit higher and it's a little bit lower, and then it jumps up again. And I did speak with an educator who said this was a problem that they were having, is that sometimes they would have students who would come into the district, they would have to hire teachers and get all the resources in place to support these students, and then they might be gone 6 months later. So then you've spent all this money on these resources that you might not even need anymore, but you're still in contract with different educators, or maybe you've already purchased curriculum or other materials. And so again, the local school district is carrying that financial burden, and you have these students who are then just coming in and coming out. It does seem like it's a lot of resources to be used in a very transient way.
And so which districts did you find that you feel that had the most, or that were overwhelmed as we go through the it's 500 districts, and they have the interactive map, which is pretty cool too.
Yeah, I mean, one of the just big numbers, which is probably not surprising, was the number of students in the Philadelphia school district. Mm-hmm. I think it had grown by, just trying to look it up, it's over nearly 7,000 students in 3 years. The Philadelphia school district went from 16,530 EL students to 23,337, which is a huge amount of students. And then I think another thing was just looking at some of the smaller districts. So you have districts that are maybe a little bit more mid-sized. They don't have as many resources. And what we found was there was, I think, over 100 school districts we identified that had at least a 50% increase in their number of English learner students in the past 3 years, which, again, when you have a smaller district, it's going to be the resources are not going to be as vast as a place like the Philadelphia School District. And, one of my co-reporter, Jason Hopkins, had spoken with a mom who said her daughter might have to redo kindergarten because she was supposed to be in Head Start, which was a program to help her with some additional learning needs. And she got kind of bumped out because of just the strain of the increase in English learner students in her district. And so, as far as this goes, I don't think anybody's talking about it. We never hear the story, which is, not a shocker when I talk about news narratives. But is this, from your standpoint, let's say in Bucks County, in our Philadelphia suburbs, is this a reason that then people are, leaving the school district, or the parents themselves, as your article points out, for a Head Start child who, because the resources are focused on kids who are trying to learn English, then does the burden go on the parent? They're trying to homeschool, or they're trying to hire a tutor, or thinking about a private school. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of things that, like you're saying, people aren't talking about. I think this issue is going to become more prominent because it is a pressure, and it's not any fault of any of the children. Obviously, the children who are here, they don't have any say in where
Right.
they're being sent or where they're being sent to school, and that was something that the people we talked to made it very clear. But it is just reality is that if you have a bridge, you can only put so many pounds across a bridge before the bridge collapses. And I think when we think about the issues that the illegal immigration crisis is causing in our country, is that these systems we have in place are not unending. Like the public education system is not unending. Unless I know everyone's already struggling to pay their bills and pay for the huge increase in your grocery bill. I don't know that taxpayers necessarily want to see their taxes continue to go up to continue to put more resources into the public education system. But, these resources are finite, and there is going to, at some point, people can ignore a crisis, but at some point it's all going to come to a head, and there's going to be, some more learning loss and more issues. And I hope that people are able to start talking about these things and really, really address the issue, and that we can get our border under control so we can make sure that our own kids are getting the education that they need. Well said. Meg Brock, thank you so much. Everybody's got to check out. It's a great article. It's comprehensive, and you provide in it all of the links, especially if somebody goes online. So thank you so much, Meg. Always love hearing from you, and great to talk to you. Thank you so much, John. Thanks for having me. Absolutely. Meg Brock, great mom out in the burbs, got really, and I've interviewed her forever, but has really been persecuted herself, by the way. Remember that? Her phone was blocked. I still can't believe that one, by her own county and her own school. Can you imagine?
It's ridiculous.
That is cray-cray. And can you imagine if somebody did that to a Democrat? That would make national news, right? That's the sick part of it. By the way, moving forward, I have to tell you what's going on in Italy. You won't believe, they have this issue of immigration. It affects everybody. So they bust all of the illegal immigrants. There's a report today to Albania. And this is the one that's making some headlines, but many countries, and we're seeing this in Europe, are not alone in this. It's just that others are dealing with it in different ways than in America. So we'll talk about Italy moving forward. And right now I got to talk about Italy. Are you ready to escape with me, thinking about paradise? The Italian Riviera. I hope you join me on this gastronomical event that only Conservative Tours can deliver. 11 luxurious days with the professionals from Conservative Tours. And if you join me back in last spring to southern Italy, you know by now Conservative Tours is the best, hands down, the best tour operator in all of Italy. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, Portofino, Rapallo, Santa Margherita Ligure, Tuscany, and the brilliant Cinque Terre. $53.78. Yes, it includes your airfare, $53.78. Dining events at wineries, especially in Tuscany. Visiting an authentic farm to see exactly how Parmesan cheese is crafted by hand. Call toll-free 888-733-9494. You can go to conservativetours.com, scroll down, you'll see my picture there, and a description of each of these places. Hidden Italian villages you've never seen, like Giacomo Puccini, San Gimignano, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Florence, Michelangelo's Florence, Milan,
concluding on the Lakes region with Bellagio, Orta, and Isola Bella. Join me next spring in Italy. Can't wait. I'll see you in Cinque Terre. ConservativeTours.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano for my friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz and the Bentz Dental Group. His state-of-the-art facility makes your dentistry as easy as can be. Recently, they had a permanent tooth put in. And you know how it is. In the past, you bite down, it's too high. It's always too high. The back and forth getting it just right. Well, not this time. With Dr. Bentz, it fit perfectly the first time. Call the Bentz Dental Group now, 610-272-6949. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com, 610-272-6949.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor. Every Saturday afternoon at 5, I talk with doctors and medical specialists from around the country to discuss the latest information about heart disease, cancer prevention, topics in women's health, pediatrics, mental health, and more. Then you can make better decisions for yourself and your loved ones. Your radio doctor, Saturdays at 5, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, because your health is your wealth.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins? They won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Thank you so much to suburban mom turned, well, a bit of a activist, if you will, but suburban mom who really was activated during the pandemic, and wife and mom, who's a great lady. I hope you follow her on social media, but just always love to hear her calm voice with compassion talking about, yes, how illegal immigration is impacting our schools, children who are already suffering from a loss of learning. So if you missed the interview with Meg Brock, she's awesome. I just love her. I love everything about her, and I follow her on social media, and her wedding anniversary. I forgot to congratulate her wedding anniversaries, and just really following her story with her parents, her tributes to her kids, and somebody who, that's just it, that the left would identify as, oh, this is one of those MAGA moms, like they do me, some conservative kooky woman. No, we're just moms. We're just people. We just want to make America great again. We want the best for our kids, our community, and the best economy. That's really what it's about. And I think that's why so many people from different walks of life who were lifelong, independents or Democrats, or people who just didn't really vote or get involved, now activated. So we'll have a great conversation thanks to Dan Borowski once again, setting up Abel Maldonado, who served under Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger I do a horrible imitation.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
That was bad.
I gotta
sorry.
say, I would tell you it was good, and
Sorry.
I feel like honesty is the best policy in this case.
I know I'm not good. Jimmy Kelly.
Hold on, I gotta ask.
What?
Is that true? Honesty the best policy?
No.
No.
Well, in certain things.
Yeah.
Not in marriage.
that's kind of what I was implying. Like, would you rather Larry be honest if you were? Well, you never look bad. That's the thing, though.
Well, no, but I think, especially when you say, like, you're going out and you go, honey, does my butt look too big in this? As a husband, you should
be like,
never,
yeah,
no.
Definitely, yeah.
You should, the answer is you look stunning, baby. That's it, right? We got to have fun with that. But thanks for setting up Abel Maldonado, and he can really speak to, obviously, somebody who's a Politico and talk about, from the perspective of immigration, among other issues. So, but somebody who's, I think, he this is not a right-wing guy, and to hear his perspective is interesting to me. So we'll talk to Abel. That'll be a great conversation. Get your calls, and as well, other breaking and developing stories of the day I want to update you on. So thanks for being here. For, my goodness, the news cycle just changes hour by hour, minute by minute. Greg Stocker announced that we're 500 and counting hours away from the election. So TikTok, and I think it's less than that. It's like 489 or something. But it's going to feel like 5 years between now and Election Day. And my main focus is to talk about the facts and get in there and talk about the policies and the facts. And if I do my job right for you, then I bust through the lies and the headlines that I feel are media malpractice and get to the truth. And you always help us get there. So thank you. This is The Dawn Show, 855-839-1210. Quick break. Great interview right around the corner.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. It's the story of Philadelphia sports put to music.
He does a lot of parodies of different songs. To see it all come together was just awesome. And then the whole family and his daughter. And the Carson Wentz hate definitely resonated.
And I love the Frank Sinatra guy, and I thought the drummer was fabulous. Go Joe, go Birds. It was awesome.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The family of the train operator killed in Burlington County is taking legal action against NJ Transit. President Biden will be at a South Philly fundraiser tonight while J.D. Vance attends a town hall in Montgomery County. And this weekend's AIDS Walk Philly will raise money for unhoused people in the city living with HIV and AIDS.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? Well, how about this? Start a PI Dental Center with decades of experience in complex dental treatment, and I've been a patient of PI Dental for 20 years. Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, they're board-certified prosthodontists. They specialize in the restoration and replacement of teeth, and PI Dental Center are the originators of the teeth in a day. It's a revolutionary treatment that delivers fixed teeth and implants placed for a dramatic transformation in a mere one day. So visit PIDentalCenter.com. That's PIDentalCenter.com to request your new patient evaluation.
Natural disasters happen every year.
fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone, lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, so they're safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering radio listeners an incredible 50% off. Go to legacybox.com/value and save 50% when you digitize your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Well, East Coast girls are hip. I really dig those styles they wear.
So we'll take you to the West Coast for Abel Maldonado Jr., who is somebody who's probably a familiar face, a familiar voice in the political arena, is really the last member of the Republican Party to serve as Lieutenant Governor of California under the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger. By the way, Maria, his ex-wife, Shriver, worked here locally at CBS. They still talk about her at one of the TV stations I used to work at, CBS 3.
Yeah?
She was an intern.
Oh, really?
Maria. They said that they thought that she would be a snooty Kennedy. She came in, was humble, hardworking,
Wow.
and they still talk about her to this day.
I didn't know that.
Back in the day.
Wow.
And that they didn't know what she saw in that
Was
little...
she a local girl?
No.
Just
no.
happened to work in Philly.
Just worked here in Philadelphia.
Well, that's awesome.
That's my only connection to, Schwarzenegger or the Kennedy family, quite frankly, but I always have. So, when we think about Abel Maldonado Jr., somebody who can talk about California. And Abel, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning, joining me.
Good morning, Dawn. How are you? Thanks for having me on your show.
Absolutely. I saw that you had posted on social media talking about Elon Musk leaving your home state of California, which is a beautiful state here in America. And you've seen, how would you describe the situation in California and just your feeling of, business owners and somebody like Elon Musk saying, I'm out?
Well, think about it, Don. Like you said, I was born and raised in California. I live on a cattle farm, agriculture farm here in Santa Barbara County. And California has it all, Don. What does that mean? It's got the beaches. It's got Napa. It's got Big Sur. It's got the redwoods. I can go on, and Hollywood, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can go on and on and on. But to be very sincere, it's got the worst government in America. And who's been at the top of that government? Kamala Harris. And people are just leaving California in droves. I was just in North Carolina last week, going back to North Carolina this week. I'm meeting people from California and North Carolina, Don. People of California are in Texas. They're in Nevada. They're in all the swing states. They've left the state. And then, you see Kamala Harris's commercials. You see them every minute pop up, and they're saying, she's going to tax the billionaires. Well, guess what? Elon Musk, the billionaire from California, gone. Larry Ellison, billionaire from California, gone. Businesses, gone. And they're leaving. Chevron Corporation just left. She taxed them, gone. So it gives you a flavor of what we have, Don. California's got it all. Why would people leave it? Why would they leave this great state? Unfortunately, the government hasn't been good for California, and Kamala Harris has been at the top of that government.
I think so many people remember you from that great speech, which was nationally recognized as something very special. When you delivered the speech entirely in Spanish here in Philadelphia at the 2000, right? That was 2000, the Republican National Convention, as I recall. and you delivered that. It got huge headlines.
You know, do I remember that day? That was a special moment, not only for me, for my family, but also for the Republican Party, to be very sincere. Here is a Hispanic family who came to America. My father came in the early 60s as a temporary worker. In those days, a government had a temporary worker permit where you can work, Don, in America on a temporary basis. My father was checked for lice. He was checked for TB. He had a background check for criminal records. They did it all, and they warned my father, you're getting a permit to work on a temporary basis, and if you're a good temporary worker, we'll renew it. And if you're not, we won't renew it. It was an amazing thing. And here his son became the lieutenant governor of California, gave a speech in Philadelphia. I think it was called the Comcast Center at the time. I'm not exactly. It was 20-something years ago. But I got to tell you, now we have an opportunity to elect Donald J. Trump, who is not a politician. He's a businessman. And he will continue to give that opportunity like my father had, that opportunity to business owners, that opportunity for the hardworking person. I mean, look what he's done. I mean, look at his policies, no tax on tips. He just came out the other day and said you should deduct your interest on your car payment. I think Americans are yearning for that, and the choice couldn't be more clear. Why am I doing this, Don? Why am I on the phone? Why am I campaigning for President Trump? I don't need a job. I have a beautiful farm to go back to. I'm doing it because we're at a crossroads in America, and our country can go the right way, or our country can go the California way. And look at California. You're playing right now a Beach Boys song before we came on. You think that her theme song would be the Beach Boys or California Dreamin', right? It's not. She can't be happy about California. So we've got a clear choice. It's a stark choice, and I hope Americans make the right choice.
And for you, as we continue the conversation with Abel Maldonado, you were somebody in California. You pushed for tax cuts. You are somebody, you believe in that, and you are a witness and a testament to what that does to spur, jobs in the economy. Can you comment on, as far as Trump's tax cuts, what that would mean in tangible ways for all Americans?
Look, if you're in Philadelphia, if you're in Pittsburgh, if you're in Pennsylvania, and you have a small family business, let me just share with you this. I've lived under Kamala Harris for 24 years, not only as a lieutenant governor, but also as a state senator and as an assembly member. I've watched her from afar. And if you have a small family business, or you're working for a small family business, Kamala Harris isn't the solution for your state, because she will find a way to tax your business, tax the business you work for, and make it difficult. I mean, at the end of the day, this couldn't be more of a clear choice for people in Pennsylvania, Don. And I say this with an open heart because I've had a front row seat to Kamala's policies. I've lived under Kamala's policies, and when she was her ads say she's a prosecutor, right? And I hear, everywhere I'm traveling, I see her ads, prosecutor. She called Donald J. Trump's border wall, she called it a vanity project. And if you look at her ads now, she has that vanity project in her ad. The wall's in her ad. I don't understand that. And then you look at her, she's talking about how crime is lower. She was a San Francisco prosecutor. She wasn't a suburban Pennsylvania prosecutor. She was a San Francisco prosecutor, the home of Nancy Pelosi, the home of Willie Brown, the home of Barbara Boxer, the home of Kamala Harris, the home of Gavin Newsom. It's San Francisco liberal politics. And I'm asking the people of Pennsylvania, Don, don't give her an opportunity to give you San Francisco policies in Pennsylvania. They are not good. I'm sharing with you. They are not good, and that's why Elon left. That's why people are leaving in droves. And to be very sincere with you, if I didn't have a farm, I just can't pick up my farm and leave. So I'm kind of stuck. But there's a lot of other people that are stuck, Don, that would love to leave and can't leave. So that's Kamala Harris, that's Gavin Newsom, that's California politics.
And so for you, just some headlines. I was just looking every morning, being on the air for many hours. One headline jumps out to me. I just wanted your reaction to this because in the media, when somebody like me here in Philadelphia, Conservative Talk Radio, reports on some of these headlines, people will say, well, if you bring up illegal immigration and you talk about a headline such as in New York right now, the NYPD detectives are extremely frustrated as they keep arresting the Tren de Aragua gang members and they're juveniles. And so the DA there and the folks there keep letting them out because they're underage juvies. And the cops keep saying, these are some dangerous individuals. They need to be kept in a juvenile facility. And then I just interviewed before you came on, in the half hour before, a local Pennsylvania suburban mom who was talking about the impact of all of the illegal children who are here now and the school districts, how they're grappling with teaching kids, teaching kids English. They don't speak any English. And so how do you react to that? As far as the media that tries to report on what happened, and they're being told, well, you're even racist to bring these issues up.
The media is working 24/7 trying to protect Kamala Harris. I mean, they hit her for 7 weeks, and now she's got the wind is behind Donald J. Trump's campaign, so now she's going out there and talking to everybody. But she's trying to fool you, and the media is trying to protect her, and finally the bloom is coming off the rose, Don, and we're starting to see what we've seen in California our whole life. Listen, Kamala Harris, in California, we haven't had, I'm sure we do now, but we've had MS-13 gangbangers in California. Kamala Harris, San Francisco PD arrested him. Kamala Harris couldn't even pick up the phone and call the immigration department to have him deported. I mean, immigration is one of the biggest issues in America today. Donald J. Trump said on day one, I'm going to seal the border, and we're going to start deporting these criminal, illegal immigrants that are here in our country. Now, look at the Tren de Agua. I mean, Latinos want to be safe in their home. Mm-hmm. They want to send their kids to a school where they're safe. They want immigration to be stopped. They want the border sealed. But the media is hiding everything. They're just protecting her. They're supporting her. Look, Kamala Harris is first thing she comes out to, and the media says, well, the immigration bill that Donald Trump talked against should be passed, and I'll pass it on day one. That's BS, Don. On day one, when Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were sworn into office on day one, the border was secure. Donald Trump's border was safe. They went into the Oval Office. They passed over 90 executive orders to open the border. They did it. So what's happening today? Someone crossing the border, all you got to do is cross the border, sit down, and a Border Patrol agent will come and get you. They'll process you in about 72 hours, then let you go in America. 12 million people are let go in America over the last 3.5 years. It's got to end. It's got to stop.
I was looking at, because I know you were on with Anderson Cooper on CNN, and they had you face off against Ana Navarro and some of the reaction. And one of the individuals said, in reacting to you, the Latino community has been brainwashed by Trump and Vance. They need to come to their senses by November 5th. Some of these comments, as I look at this, I think I see worry. I see that they're concerned. Should they be concerned as far as Latino voters who see through the so-called mainstream media?
100%. They are concerned and they are worried. And Ana Navarro, I've known her for over 20 years as well. And they're trying to point that Donald J. Trump is a racist. That's their go-to line. But Don, if you go back many years, George W. Bush was a racist. Mitt Romney was a racist. John McCain was a racist. That's their go-to line, and it couldn't be further from the truth. Donald J. Trump is not a racist, and the polls are saying that Latinos are in the 40% range supporting him. African Americans are in the high numbers supporting him. They know he is not a racist. Donald J. Trump is a strong businessman who holds people accountable. That's who he is. That's what people are seeing, and that's why we're getting a little wind at our back at this time. We need to finish this race off. We need to continue to work for 21 more days, day and night, because they're going to come after him with everything. I mean, this morning they had nothing good to say, but he was dancing at a rally. I mean, come on. These people are just out to lunch.
Yeah, I opened it up this morning because there were so many people who went, and we just went through and exposed all the fake news and what really happened and the medical emergencies. We should be investigating the Expo Center in Oaks here in Pennsylvania to find out why they allowed that situation with no AC. That's the real story, if you want to ask me.
Exactly, and that's the message we need to get out. Yeah. By the way, next week, I'm heading to Pennsylvania, and I'm going to spend there 2 weeks, the final 2 weeks, and I want to talk to every Hispanic that's in Pennsylvania that is an American Hispanic that is going to vote and tell them who Donald J. Trump is, because there's 651,000 Hispanic Americans in Pennsylvania, and I need to tell them what Kamala Harris has done to California and what she will do to hurt them in Pennsylvania if she becomes president. So we've got a lot of work to do ahead of us. We can't sit on our laurels. We need to keep working hard, Don, and I can't thank you enough for getting that message out.
Thank you, Abel Maldonado. Thank you so much for joining me today.
We'll see you soon.
Yes, see you soon here in PA. Abel Maldonado. Yeah, so I didn't get to ask him about Arnold because there was so much Trump stuff, but maybe next time. So your thoughts on that interview, and as well, just moving forward, I think this is a real theme. I'm trying to find information on Oaks, PA, but I want to, around the corner, remind you of something that happened. I should have asked Meg if she was there was a Women for Trump event, and Kathy Barnett was there. I should get a hold of Kathy. This was prior to Trump winning in 2016. Maybe you remember this, a Women for Trump event, and actually Governor Noem was there. And something happened to the venue, the restaurant that was there in Montgomery County. I want to talk about this, and Dom Giordano probably remembers it, maybe Dan Borowski as well, because Val Arkush, remember, she was the health czar at the time. You know what, we're going to talk about what happened with the restaurant and the venue, and they tried to shut down this great event that ended up happening. I want to talk about that in the context of what happened in Oaks, Pennsylvania, and just think about that one. But we have other breaking news as well. I'm going to take a quick break. Take your calls, 855-839-1210. Thanks for being here on this Tuesday. Remember, if you haven't filed your taxes, October 15th, today's the deadline. Be right back.
Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Between email addresses, social media, apps, this, that, and the other thing, I can't keep track of all my passwords anymore. I've had to write them down on a notepad and store them in a safe place. I'm tired of having to reset my password and then get the verification email and then go in and change it, and then they tell me that it's not strong enough. Can you throw a few characters on the end? How about a money sign? Oh, don't forget the capital letters. It's got to be between 8 and 12s. There's too many consonants.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
You're driving along when you realize...
Oh, I've got to get over. Oh my gosh, sorry!
You didn't see him, did you? He was in your blind spot. You can also have a blind spot when it comes to your retirement. That's where Joe Yakovich of JML Financial Group comes in. He knows about a little blind spot called taxes. Social Security, your pension, your investments, all can be taxable. Look, you don't want to end up saying,
will I be writing huge checks to the government when I retire?
Don't get blindsided by taxes. Make sure your retirement plan has a tax plan. With one call to JML Financial Group, 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. JML Financial Group does not offer legal or tax advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance.
The following is a paid commercial message.
It's happening here in Pennsylvania. Sanctuary cities are releasing violent illegal immigrants onto our streets with the help of Bob Casey. Casey voted repeatedly to fund these dangerous sanctuary cities. Casey's policy let more illegals, more criminals loose in our neighborhoods, making our families less safe. Worse, instead of deporting criminal illegals, Casey voted to give them amnesty. Casey's amnesty would give illegal immigrants your Social Security and Medicare. That's right, Casey would give your benefits to illegals, but he'd also make you pay more. Casey voted for higher taxes on seniors' Social Security benefits. Seniors can't afford higher taxes? Bob Casey, taxing you to pay illegals. It's just another Casey con job. It's time for a change. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Business owners can count on McCausland Lock and Alarm to secure and control access to their facilities. Enjoy peace of mind while their access control and CCTV systems provide top-of-the-line protection for your assets. Tom McCausland's wealth of experience allows McCausland to effectively protect all types of facilities in any environment, and their customer service is unmatched. Call today, 610-430-1500. 610-430-1500. McCausland Lock and Alarm, securing your business, securing your future.
So last year I had the bright idea to dig up part of my backyard to put in a new patio. Little did I know that underground electrical for most of my neighborhood ran through my backyard. One wrong hit of the shovel and bam, lights went out, my hair turned white, and now I can wirelessly charge my smartphone. You know, they say hindsight is 20/20, but 2/20? That's something completely different. Trust me. Call 811 before you dig. Know what's below and help us hit 50 and 5. 50% less damage to buried utilities in 5 years. For info, visit pa1call.org.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So I was just looking up the Expo Center in Oaks, PA, and the capacity. Do you notice nobody's saying the crowd? Nobody's talking about the crowd size. You notice that? So they had a huge crowd. Now this is 240,000 square feet. 240,000 square feet. If you've been to this venue in Oaks, they have the gun show. They have the moms event with the secondhand stuff. That's a great event every year. They have a ton of events, obviously. But it's obviously a huge venue. I cannot imagine that they don't have air conditioning. So I don't understand. And I was trying to see, because it's an indoor entertainment space on one single floor. So it's an incredible venue. But I just am hard put to imagine that they actually don't have AC. So I'm trying to find that information on their site, because they have, it's 5 flexible halls. They have 240,000 square feet on a single floor that you can have an event. And so it's just hard for me to believe they don't have AC. And then I started to remember, if you talk about people playing kind of dirty, there was this event. I'm trying to remember who all was there. So Corey Lewandowski was there. Kathy Barnett was there. And this was like maybe it was 2015, or it was probably in the summer of 2016, prior to the conventions. That's what I'm thinking it was. So before, this was when Trump obviously had victory in 2016. So there was this great event at a Montgomery County restaurant. And the point of the story is that the event went on, but we all had to sit outside, and they ordered pizza. They couldn't serve any drinks. They couldn't serve food because the morning of this event, which was widely publicized about a Women for Trump event, and Governor Kristi Noem was there, and there were other dignitaries who were there, Republican Party, and they were doing like a fundraiser and this Women for Trump event, and the health inspector showed up that morning and said to the restaurant, oh, we need to shut you down. So you're not allowed to serve any food. You're not allowed to serve any drinks. And what a coincidence. And it was some kind of a technicality that they showed up and then said, oh, based on the health, and that's how they got to them, right? And that was under the reign of one Val Arcouche. Remember when Dom used to do the Val Arcouche, and he'd always talk about her?
There, yeah.
But that was what happened. And I thought, yeah, remember this? Just to bring back that little memory. But what a coincidence. I'm sure it was just a coincidence. And I'm sure it was just, it was like a clerical thing. And they cleared it up. They cleared it up very quickly. But just like basically for that day. What a coincidence, huh? That you're having a major event and they're going to say, oh, we're going to shut you down. And so, I don't know. Then that is what got me to thinking, geez, did they have air conditioning? I don't know, did somebody go, oops, they pulled the plug or something weird? I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. I think it is bizarre that whoever was responsible for that, they knew that there was a huge crowd because people sign up for it. And they said there were at least 1,000 people outside who couldn't even get into this huge venue.
Reported this? I'm looking everywhere to see if anybody reported whether or not they actually have air conditioning. And all these reports about Trump asking for air conditioning, nobody actually followed up and called over to Oaks to ask if they have air conditioning.
And I should have called earlier
I'm going to do it right now. Why not?
All right.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Thank you. So we'll find out. Do they have air conditioning? And if they do, then why didn't they crank it? I mean, I know how it is if you're at a packed event, like think about a wedding or whatever, you know how they might have the AC on, but it still gets hot inside. But still, I've been to Oaks a bunch of times over the years, and at all times of the year, they have the dog show there, right? I mean, I can't imagine that right? Isn't the famous dog show, isn't that at Oaks? Like they have big events there. I cannot imagine that they don't have AC, and you heard some of the callers just saying it was stifling in there. It was so hot. So what was up with that? And I think that's a legitimate question. And I started thinking back to what many of us felt were very suspicious, kind of playing dirty type of thing when that one great restaurant and great owner, maybe I shouldn't even say their name because I think they were intimidated. They were bullied. And that was horrible, by the way. That was electioneering. Not that we would ever think that anybody would play any funny games. As we move on today. By the way, I have to take a quick break. Did anybody see the Northern Lights last week? Because I have some Stacia, my beautiful stepdaughter. They saw them, but they're further out. So in Chester County, and I said to you, it was a Friday night football game, and I was on the main line at a football game. I didn't really see them, and it was a perfectly clear sky. So just to give you a heads up, tonight full moon begins, and then this comet that only is seen, the last time it was seen, 80,000 years ago. So look to the skies this evening. Apparently we'll be able to see the comet in the skies. Just want to give you that little heads up. And think about that. Our ancestors were like cavemen, basically. Maybe we're still cavemen. Maybe we haven't come so far and evolved as we think, right? 855-839-1210. We'll take a quick break. I do want to update you on some important stories. Be right back.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Not expecting to see any rain all week. Going to be cooler, though, than we have been. We're only going up to 60 degrees today with some sun and clouds. Sunny tomorrow, mostly, with a high of 59, 62 for the high Thursday, and 69 Friday.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Natural disasters happen every year. Fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone, lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, so they're safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering radio listeners an incredible 50% off. Go to legacybox.com/value and save 50% when you digitize your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
So I will tell you, to their credit locally, because I always want to give credit where credit's due, the one who has the most responsible headline is locally 6ABC. And the quote here is, Trump's Oaks, Pennsylvania town hall interrupted by medical emergencies in the crowd. So they updated this as of 7:35 a.m. and Kelsey Walsh and Layli Ibisa and Sue Rin Kim. Kudos to them. It looks like ABC News Network as well. They updated this headline. All the other headlines that I'm seeing are irresponsible. They have a responsible headline that they're saying, and they have a quote from Caroline Levitt, which, they responsibly sought a quote where they're telling the story that's the truth that many of you were calling in about, and that is that you started to have medical emergencies. They realized that it was too hot inside. Secret Service said, no, we can't open the doors, and they wouldn't open. And I don't know if they ever did open them until they shut it down, but they were just told, we have to end this early. That's what really happened, and ABC News confirming that, as they're saying that. So I think what happened was they said, we need to go early. And so it wasn't that he didn't want to take questions. It was that he stayed on stage, but they were ending the event because they realized it was stifling hot and people were passing out, and they didn't want people to hit their head. This is Oaks, the Expo Center. If you know that area, it's a concrete floor. You don't want anybody falling and hitting their head. So it became a situation where they were told, you got to end this early. We cannot continue and have people fainting. But then Trump remained on stage. That's why they put the music on. They were ending the thing, but he remained on stage. He was signing signs. He was signing people's hats. But they were expected to leave. The announcement was made. So
a lot of blame being thrown his way on liberal Reddit, the commenters,
Yeah?
probably bots, Kamala paid bots or shills, saying are placing blame on Trump for being late and making the people wait. So I just want you to address those claims if you blame Trump at all for his tardiness.
Okay. So I don't have any. The truth is that the doors opened, I think, at 2:00, and you had to be in place because of security. And so, because I can tell you that because I have they were texting me, saying you must be in place by this time. If you sign up for the ticket, it's free, but they tell you when the doors open and then you must be in place. And so you have people in there for many hours. That's how it goes. And then the speakers, the event technically starts with sometimes a warm-up act, if you will, but he sometimes will be backstage coming in. I don't have any confirmation that he was ever late. With these, he is going by schedule, and so he's scheduled to go behind stage. Oftentimes he'll meet with different individuals like we've seen before, maybe cancer survivors or children with cancer, that sort of thing. But that's all scheduled. And then the rally, they have people coming on stage and starting to do the so-called warm-up act. That's the truth. But there are all these lies out there. Did you get a hold of anybody from Oaks or anything?
No, I got 2 voicemails over there.
Okay.
So I rang over, left a message, and hopefully we hear back by the end of the show.
Or during the Dom show.
Yeah.
So hopefully somebody
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, it's great that we're live and we're local because we can continue on, follow the story for you, and maybe even our great audience, because we have so many people who were there or who have insider information.
I mean, I'm doing digging,
Yeah.
and there's reviews of the Greater Philadelphia
Yeah.
Expo Center that say, the air conditioning could have been better, or there's a lot of complaints in
Yeah.
the Yelps, the Google reviews about air conditioning
I
issues.
saw that.
But there's also, I don't know if you saw, I guess at one point they had a Lizard convention, and on the Lizard convention website, they say all conventions will be air conditioned. So I don't have an exact clear answer here as to whether or not they're. What I'm thinking, and this is just a thought, again, this is a best guess.
Because it was 77 degrees and they didn't expect it?
Well, or it's just a place where it's such a big, cavernous place that their air conditioning might be outdated, or it's not as good as it should be. And when you get that many people that close together, the humidity is going to skyrocket, and sometimes it's just not compensated for.
Yeah, I think, we want to get to the bottom of it and find out, because the truth is it is a convention center, right? It's their responsibility. And so we need to find out what happened. Did something go wrong? Was it that this time of year, obviously, is not usually 77, 78 degrees.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful, warm weekend, but it felt like summer.
And you got to think, at one point you hear Trump, they say, open the doors, and Trump responds, we want them open, but we can't because it's a security issue. Were the thoughts, as you're stating, that with the cooler temperatures, I mean, yesterday we had our windows open, and it was beautiful. We didn't have to turn on the air conditioning. Was the idea that they were just going to have the doors open that would, fluctuate the air, and that would keep it cooler? I don't know. And that's why the air conditioning wasn't turned on, and then they had to close the doors, and that plan backfired. And when you have such a big thing, you can't just pop on the air conditioning at work immediately. It's got to fill a big room, and just maybe it was a bad situation there.
Yeah, I would. If I run a convention center, I certainly do not want to open myself up to a litigious situation, because if I run a place and I say, bring your convention, and yes, you can have this many thousands of people inside, and then somebody faints and hits their head due to the fact that it's stuffy and hot, you know what I mean? I would not want that litigious situation.
And for a guy who's conspiracy brained as I am, as much as I'd like to say, is there something here? We're talking here of a convention center that's regularly brought up by progressives like Kenny because of the gun shows that they have. So I don't think they're going to do anything to try to sabotage the Republican candidate for president here in any way.
Okay, good. So that's
just my thoughts.
Yeah.
You talk about the Oaks Gun Convention. Is that not at the same building? Or?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so
been to it.
I would think that they have a stake for the Republican candidate, if anything.
So we'll ask the questions, and hopefully we'll find out more information. By the way, Vice President Kamala Harris promising to offer 1 million business loans to Black entrepreneurs as she continues to try to connect with and attract Black men to vote for her. And so the campaign is announcing this on their website. They say that, quote, Donald Trump is a serious threat to the lives of Black men. Now, I would think this is dangerous rhetoric, I'm just saying. But these are forgivable loans that could reach as high as $20,000 in value. That's what they're promising, $20,000. And so it says that Vice President Kamala Harris is laying out an agenda to give Black men the tools to build wealth and achieve financial freedom. So we'll continue that conversation about this they've rolled out the red carpet here and promising 1 million business loans only to, not to anybody else, not to women. I guess these are just Black men. I don't know. Isn't that discriminatory? I don't know if that's even legal.
Yeah.
Let's get to your calls. 855-839-1210. Is this Jose?
You got Jose?
Yes. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing so well. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I was listening to your former guest, Hispanic Latino from California. Yes. And I couldn't agree with him more. Now, I'm Puerto Rican. I was born in Puerto Rico. We came to this country, to Westchester, Pennsylvania, back in 1979. My dad's a veteran. My dad served in Vietnam, Silver Star, Bronze Star, Purple Heart. You know, my brother retired from the Army. I served in the Marine Corps. My grandfather buried in Veterans Cemetery in Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans have such a unique position as Americans because we're part of the United States. And I can't tell you how lucky I feel and my family feels that, you know, we were born American. And you know, our neighbors to the east and west of us, you know, when we're talking about Cuba and the Dominican Republic, you know, they're leaving their countries in droves because of the crime and the instability of government that they're experiencing, just like it's happening all over the world. And, you know, my family took an oath to serve, protect this country and the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And, you know, we're seeing some terrible things happening in this country as far as not just from people that want to hurt us from abroad, but within our own country, people that are actually standing against America. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I know that there's a lot of Latinos that support the Democratic Party. But there's also a large number of Latinos who are traditionally conservative. They have conservative values. You know, they believe in family. They believe in religious values. And the Democratic Party really doesn't align with our values as Latinos, as Hispanic Americans. And we have to be very careful, you know, who we stand with, because, you know, when you have Latinos or Hispanics that are born here, that are American citizens, that have been working hard, or they come to this country legally, that are vetted, that they have to go through the process, those people really don't support illegal immigration because it hurts them. It hurts their status.
Yes.
And, yeah, it really does. And, you know, I tell people all the time, I said, you know, this is what protects our very rights, what protects the Constitution of the United States, which I took an oath to defend, is our borders. The Constitution lives within our borders. The second that you have porous borders or weak borders or borders that really aren't borders at all, now you're just diluting and watering down the very rights that protect us. You're watering down and you're diluting the Constitution of the United States. I would ask Kamala Harris this. Would you buy a pack of trash bags with a bunch of holes and perforations all over them so that when you remove it from your trash can, it's going to leak and allow trash to get all over your floor and all over wherever it is that you're taking your trash bag to? And I say no. And that's what our border has become, a leaky trash bag where all kinds of junk is leaking through, all kinds of drugs. We have coyotes, we have human trafficking, all kinds of things that are coming into our community and hurting us. Right now I live in Philadelphia, Northeast Philadelphia and Mayfair. I grew up in Westchester. Two different styles of government within our very state. Chester County tends to be a little bit more conservative, you know, moderate, but very, conservative, and they have a different style of running their government. Now here, my wife and I and my son have to move out of Mayfair because on our very block, we have so many people that are coming in that don't even speak English, and we don't even know where they're coming from, and has changed the dynamic of our very block. And we have people there that are Latino, that are from other countries. I have some neighbors that are Haitian, but they came here legally. And they don't support what's happening right now in our country. They're against it. They're actually Trump supporters because they understand what they had to go through and what they left behind, and they don't want this country to become what they left behind. We're all from somewhere else in this country. But we all have to stand collectively as Americans. When people ask me, where are you? What are you? I say, I'm American. That's what I tell them. I'm American. And I said, you know, I'm an American from Puerto Rico. Just like Some people are Americans from Texas,
right.
or Americans from Pennsylvania, or Americans from wherever it is. You're proud of the state that you come from. It doesn't mean that you have to give up on being American. You have to take that into consideration. Kamala Harris has not offered a plan. Kamala Harris has not said anything of significant value to me and to my family. And the way I look at it, if she becomes president, things are going to be very bad for the Latino, Hispanic community that is here legally, that has worked hard to be in this country, that wants to contribute and has served this country like my family. It's a danger. It really is. And I think that people have to wake up and realize that if you really love this country, if you really understand the importance of being an American citizen and everything that you have worked hard to do to be here and to protect them and to come to this country, you have to really side on the side of the Republican Party and Donald Trump and what he's trying to do and to protect. And I think that most people that have come here legally and people that fully understand that concept, I think do support Donald Trump. Thank you so much,
Jose.
for everything that.
Oops, I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Jose. I know you're a first-time caller, so I hope you call back, because we want to hear more from you, because you're an important voice. Jose, thank you. That was so beautifully stated. I started to get filled up. I'm getting verklempt. Jose, we love you. So thank you. And
I love you guys too. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you so much. And to your family, a family of patriots. My goodness. So we'll continue the conversation. And also, can you imagine, Donald Trump would blow over all the Democrats' minds right now if he said, and you know what, Puerto Rico, not for nothing, should get voting rights. Maybe they'd all vote for him. Because think about it. Puerto Rico is the size of Utah, Iowa, Nevada, Arkansas. So can you even imagine that? They'd all lose their minds if he could do that and get Puerto Rico. Oh, my goodness. Well, listen, we got to talk about my friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles. They feature the latest luxury vehicles from today's top brands, such as Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and more. These are some of the most beautiful, powerful vehicles on the roadways right now. As such, sleek new designs, innovative features, powered by the very latest in technology. And they have thousands of new as well as certified pre-owned vehicles that are available right now across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, as well as Delaware. And their dealerships are all over. Like I say, Piazza Premium Automobiles stands out. You can visit them, piazzapremiumautos.com, Piazza, piazzapremiumautos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Friday, October 25th, 6 to 10 a.m. Kalen Company presents The Great Mock Debate.
My fellow Americans, this is your favorite president with a big, beautiful announcement. We'll be live in the South Jersey FOP Lodge 56.
Where do they want me to go? A police hall in South Jersey. No, we defund the police in the Harris administration.
We'll see if she shows up. I don't know. We'll see about it. She's very scared. She's shaking in her boots.
Do you think the audience will wear masks? I don't want to breathe in that deplorable air. All right?
Be at the South Jersey FOP Lodge 56 in Berlin Township. Friday, October 25th, 6 to 10 a.m. Tickets are $12.10. All money goes to the Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation. For tickets, go to 1210WPHT.com.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale and Company. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Looking ahead to Week 7, starting Thursday night, the Broncos at the Saints. I don't like the spread for this game, so I'm going to try this 3-leg same-game parlay. Alvin Kamara on the over rushing yards, Bo Nix on the over 1.5 passing touchdowns, and Rashid Shaheed for the over receiving yards. Combine those 3 bets together for one same-game parlay, bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg to make every moment more this NFL season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 1210 WPHT, 21 and over, President PA, first online real money wager only, $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued at non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
The following is a paid commercial message.
A lot of congressmen talk about real results, but Brian Fitzpatrick actually delivers for real people like Tom.
I believe that Congressman Fitzpatrick does have his finger on the pulse, does feel the needs of businesses, and recognizes what small businesses mean to Main Street America.
Janice.
I would say 100% that I support Brian Fitzpatrick for Congress. I know that he has our interests at heart. He's just really a man of great integrity.
And Pete.
Congressman Fitzpatrick is very responsive, especially to veterans' needs. I can't think of any other person I'd rather see as my congressman than Brian Fitzpatrick.
Delivering for Pennsylvania. That's Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. Vote on or before Election Day, November 5th. Paid for by America's Credit Unions PAC of Credit Union National Association, Inc., americascreditunions.org, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. America's Credit Unions PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This is Jordan Lundy of Lundy Law. When we say we hope you're never involved in an accident, we mean it. But if you are injured in an accident, we'll work quickly and tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. And when we also say we only get paid when your case is over and you get paid, we mean it. Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit LundyLaw.com.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Do you have water on your property giving you a headache, soggy yards, damp patio, pool area getting swampy? Visit GardenStateEarthworks.com, your drainage solution, 856-848-4444.
Free speech lives here with Don Stensland, 10 till noon on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
Taxes are so high, taking all my money, and the traffic's a pain. I've been on the 405 for half of the day. California free,
I love it, Dan. Hey, there's a new report out that the report headline is 104 million people of faith, including 32 million Christian regular churchgoers, are projected to abstain from voting in November. So this is out of the Arizona Christian University Cultural Research Center, and they have said that Christians are unlikely to vote, and that it's just apathy, that people are, maybe they're fed up or lost the faith in, not their Christian faith, obviously, but they've lost faith in our system for whatever reason, and that apathy among Christian voters may be a game changer, according to this latest search and these researchers who say that only 51% of all faith voters are likely to vote in November. And what they found was 104 million faith voters are unlikely to vote this election, including 41 million born-again Christians defined by their beliefs regarding sin and salvation. And this is not, and then as well, they say 32 million regular Christian church attenders, which I think would include, whether you're Catholic or Protestant or, overall, and then 14 million who attend an evangelical church. Born again Christian is I can tell you, because we lived in the South, when you come forward and you profess Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, and so I think of more, I think of southern states and maybe the Bible Belt a little more than I would here on the East Coast. So we did that. Because we moved around like every 2 to 4 years as a kid, my brother, my whole family, we became born-again Christians at Bayleaf Baptist Church in Raleigh, outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, with Reverend Ron Rowe. And so you come forward and you do that as an individual. But eventually my whole family did. And then we were baptized by water. So in the evangelical and Baptist churches, you're not baptized as a baby. They'll do a dedication, but it's more that you are just like in the Bible. You know what I mean? John the Baptist and baptized.
Did you do it in like an actual body of water, or was it?
No, my brother John, who's so funny, and he said,
Baptist?
He said it's the coolest church because it has a dunk tank. He called it the dunk tank. So they had a big tank, and they filled it with water, and so they do the baptism right there.
Cool.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate, and we just have to figure that one out and find out why. Maybe say a prayer as far as what that is and why, because everybody should be voting, and it's a shame when people of faith lose faith in our current system. That's a sad day in America. So we'll have to resume that conversation. Dan Borowski, you're just the best. Just enjoy you, and thank you so much for all the great job that you work so hard, and you set up great interviews, so thank you.
Thanks, Dawn. I appreciate the compliments.
Yes,
You're
sir.
a lot of fun to work with.
And let's get to and Jimmy Kelly. They've been busy. He's doing all these great promos, by the way.
He is.
So look at he's just got his nose down to the grindstone.
Jim
He's been
doesn't
working so
only
hard.
answer the phones. He does tons around.
He does editing
Yeah.
and I mean just so much. But we appreciate Jimmy too, even though he's not listening right now because he's busy. Hey, Dom Giordano with a great show ahead.
Well, thank you, Don. We have Mike Waltz. Finally, his book is out, The Green Beret Mindset, and he's up to be the head of the CIA or the Defense Department. I kind of like more of the CIA with this guy. We'll talk with him. And also, Scott Presler's texting this morning, massive. I'm beating Taylor Swift. He's here at 1 o'clock.
Ooh, I can't wait. An awesome Dom show just ahead.
Firma las paredes de tu laberinto.